And think of all we've done. We revived this economy through cutting taxes, rolling back regulations, unleashing American energy, and fighting for free and fair trade. And after years of budget cuts, this president rebuilt our military. We restored the arsenal of democracy, and we're once again giving our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Space Force the resources that they need to defend this nation every day. We've stood up for the rule of law and for our most cherished liberties. This president has seen, with your support, more than 200 men and women confirmed to our federal courts at every level, and they are all conservatives who will uphold the God-given liberties enshrined in our Constitution, like the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech, and the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. And I couldn't be more proud to be vice president to a president who stands without apology for the sanctity of human life. But today is about 4 more years. This week we will take our case to the American people. And we certainly heard the Democrats' case last week. It's remarkable to think. And you understand when you listen carefully to their agenda, beyond the platitudes and the attitude, you hear an agenda that Joe Biden and the Democratic Party have been overtaken by the radical left. Their agenda is higher taxes, socialized medicine, open borders, abortion on demand, and cutting funding to the men and women who serve in law enforcement at every level. Well, we're going to take our case to the American people. It's a case of lower taxes, free market economics, secure borders, right to life, and we're going to make it clear that this president, this vice president, and this party will always stand with the men and women who serve on the thin blue line of law enforcement. We're going to back the blue. Good. You know, I don't have to tell you here at the Republican National Convention, the choice in this election has never been clearer, and the stakes have never been higher. And we'll be taking our case to the American people this week, but it'll be you and the millions of Americans involved in our party in every state and territory of this nation who will be carrying that message to the phone lines and to the front doorsteps of the American people. And it's the reason why I wanted to be here today. And it's the reason why I got a good feeling you might just see a friend of mine at the Republican National Convention today. Because we wanted to say thank you. We wanted to say thank you for all the work that you have done and all the work that you will continue to do on the days ahead. In the car on the way here after I landed in Charlotte, I was on the phone with more than 5,000 volunteers all across America. We're going to be getting people together in your state and in every state and territory across this land. We already have the largest grassroots campaign in American history, and we're going to secure 2 million volunteers before Election Day. As it really is about re-electing this president for 4 more years, but it's also about an agenda. It's about an agenda that made America prosperous, more prosperous than ever before this great global pandemic struck our nation. More Americans were working than ever before. We were setting records in this economy left and right. And in the midst of this pandemic, as I'll speak about Wednesday night, the leadership of this president and the compassion of the American people shone forth. And we'll continue to work every day until we put this coronavirus in the past. And when we re-elect President Donald Trump, remember, it's going to be 4 more years. That means more jobs. 4 more years means more judges. 4 more years means more support for our troops and our cops. And it's going to take at least 4 more years to drain that swamp. So, men and women of the Republican National Convention, it's on. Now is the time. This is the moment for each of us to do everything that we can in our power to re-elect this president, this team, for 4 more years. But let's also do our part to re-elect and elect Republicans up and down the ballot. Let's re-elect a Republican majority in the United States Senate, and let's make sure that Leader Kevin McCarthy is Speaker. Kevin McCarthy in a new Republican majority in the United States House of Representatives. So we've all got work to do, and I know you're up to the task. I saw the way this party, this movement, led our nation back in 2016. And I just know each and every one of you are going to do your part this year to re-elect this president and elect and re-elect Republicans with strong, sound, conservative principles every day. Because, you know, I heard the other day that democracy is on the ballot. But I think we all know the economy is on the ballot. Law and order is on the ballot. Our most cherished ideals of freedom and free markets are on the ballot. That's why we need 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House. So I'm going to slip away because I have a feeling somebody else will be here before too long. And as I said, I'll have more to say about the action that you took today come Wednesday night at Fort McHenry. But I mean to tell you, it's the greatest honor of my life to be your vice president. And I'm going to work my heart out to be your vice president for 4 more years. And I'm absolutely convinced that if all of us do all that we need to do between now and November 3rd, if we organize, if we mobilize, if we hit the phones, if we hit the doorsteps, if we do our part in every state and every territory of this country, we're going to elect and re-elect Republican leaders all across this land. We're going to re-elect President Donald Trump for 4 more years, and with your continued support and with God's help, we're going to make America great again. Again. Thank you all very much. An honor to be with you today. God bless the Republican Party, and God bless the United States of America.
We will continue with the roll call of the states. And pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Nebraska cast 36 votes for President Donald Trump. Nevada, 25 delegates with the following bound delegates. 25, President Trump.
Madam Secretary, I'm Chairman Michael J. McDonald from the great state of Nevada. Home to Congressman Mark Amodei. Home to the Las Vegas Knights. Home to the Las Vegas Raiders. Nevada's a battle-born state. Admitted to the Union by our first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, just 1 week before the election in 1864. From the energy of Las Vegas, across the Great Basin to the majestic Sierra, crowned by the jewel of Lake Tahoe, Nevada is truly a land blessed by God, and we are privileged to call it home. All 47 members of our delegation worked hard and sacrificed to become elected, to come to North Carolina to re-elect our president. But due to the restrictions, they cannot be with us. Although they are not in this room, they are here in spirit, and they fully support our great president. So on behalf of our National Committeewoman, Michelle Fiore, our National Committeeman, Jim DeGraffenreid, the state of Nevada proudly cast all 25 votes for the re-election of Donald J. Trump as President of the United States.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Nevada cast 25 votes, President Trump. New Hampshire, 22 delegates with the following bound delegates. 22, President Trump.
Madam Chairman, I'm Corey Lewandowski, and I am the chairman of the New Hampshire delegation. On behalf of the people of New Hampshire, the Granite State, the first in the nation primary state, a state that picks presidents, the state that delivered the president's first victory in 2016, the state where our motto comes from General John Stark, who said, "Live free or die." New Hampshire is the state of such luminaries as Senator Daniel Webster and brave Americans like Krista McAuliffe. We are home to the first American in space, Alan Shepard, and Baseball Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk, whose game-winning home run in the 1975 World Series is remembered as one of the greatest moments in sports history. New Hampshire is known for our maple syrup, comedian Adam Sandler, poet Robert Frost, and New York Times best-selling author Corey Lewandowski. New Hampshire, the state that called the 14th President Franklin Pierce home, and the state of hard-working, God-loving Americans who stand for the flag and kneel only for God. Madam Chairman, I hereby cast all 22 delegates to my friend and the President of the United States, Donald John Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, New Hampshire cast 22 votes to President Donald J. Trump. New Jersey, 49 delegates with the following bound delegates. 49, President Trump.
Madam Secretary, President Trump and Vice President Pence have kept their promises to the American people, and New Jersey's delegation is proud to nominate them for 4 more years. I'm Doug Steinhardt, Chairman of the New Jersey Republican Party. On behalf of the Garden State, proud home of Alice Paul, Thomas Edison, Frank Sinatra, and the beautiful Jersey Shore, I am pleased to announce that New Jersey's 49 delegates are given to Donald J. Trump for President of the United States of America.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of the convention, New Jersey cast 49 votes for President Trump. New Mexico, 22 delegates with the following bound delegates. 22, President Trump.
Madam Chair, on behalf of the good people of the state of New Mexico, a land of blue skies, limitless horizons, and unending vistas, a land where faith, freedom, and family dominate our values. We all saw Mr. Trump come down that escalator, and he gave voice to the fears and anguish that we all felt for this country. And then he began to speak words of strength and purpose, words like courage and liberty, prosperity, truth, hope, and life. And we saw him begin to rebuild this country. And then we saw that rebuilding interrupted by the COVID-19. So now we have a choice.
In the beautiful
a choice
Jersey
to
Shore.
continue the rebuilding.
I am pleased to announce
the revival,
that New Jersey's 49
the renewing
delegates are
of this
given
great
to
land.
Donald J. Trump
New Mexico is
for
proud
President
to vote
of the
for
United
that
States
renewal, that
of
revival,
America.
by casting its 22 votes for Donald J. Trump, the next President of the United
Pursuant
States of
to the
America.
announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of the convention, New Jersey cast 49 votes to the for announcement President of this Trump. Delegation and the rules and procedures of the convention, New Mexico cast 22 votes for President Trump. New York, 94 delegates with the following bound delegates. 94, President Trump.
Hello, my name is Nick Langworthy. I'm proud to serve as chairman of the New York Republican Party. New York is the proud birthplace of our great president, Donald J. Trump. It is where he raised his family, where he built his business. Our president embodies what it means to be New York tough. And when New York was facing some of its darkest hours a few months ago, our president stepped up and delivered for the people of the state of New York. The sight of the hospital ship USS Comfort sailing into our harbors gave a clear and bold message to the people of our state that our president was there to support us. Even our governor, Andrew Cuomo, congratulated him and thanked him for that tremendous support. And it was a terrible shame last week when that same governor went to his party's convention and lied about our president's leadership in this crisis. But New York is what's in turmoil. From our
New Mexico cast
bloated budget
22
deficits
votes
to our
for
economy
President Trump.
in free fall,
New York,
we
94
have crime
delegates
ravaging
with
our
the following
streets.
bound delegates.
That is
94,
what America
President
would
Trump.
see if it allowed Biden-Harris to run this country. I'm proud to serve as chairman of the We need to send a loud and clear message. New York is proud to stand up and say, thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership for New York. Raised his family, where he built his business. Our president embodies what it means to be New York fighting tough. For us with that true when New York was facing some of its darkest hours. We have your back, and we are proud to cast our 94 president stepped up and delivered for the people of the state of New York. The sight of the hospital ship USS
Pursuant
Comfort
to the
sailing into
announcement
our
of this
harbors
delegation and the
gave a
rules and
clear
procedures
and
of this
bold
convention,
message to the people
New
of our
York
state that our
cast
president
94 votes
was there
for
to support us.
President Donald J. Trump.
Even our governor,
Carolina.
Andrew Cuomo, congratulated him and thanked him for that tremendous support. And it was a terrible shame last week
71
when that
delegates
same
with the
governor
following
went to
bound
his
delegates.
party's convention and
71,
lied about our
President
president's
Trump.
leadership in this crisis.
History is made in North Carolina with our first
New
settlements
York
in the
is
late
what's in turmoil.
1580s and as one of
New
the
Mexico
original 13
cast
Bloated
colonies.
budget
22
deficits.
History was
votes
made
to our
May
economy
20th,
Trump.
1775 with the Mecklenburg Declaration
York.
We
of Independence,
94
declaring our
delegates with the
independence
following
from
bound
British
delegates.
rule a full
That is what
year
America
before the
would
U.S.
see if
Declaration
it
of
allowed
Independence.
Biden-Harris to run
History
this
was
country.
made in 1795
We need to
with the
send a
first
loud and
public
clear
university
message.
in
New York
America,
is proud to stand up and say thank you, Mr.
Today it's the
President,
home
for your
of
leadership for
North
New York. Raised his
Carolina
family, where he
A&T
built his
State
business.
University, the
Our
largest
president
historic black
embodied
college
thank
in
you for
America.
keeping
New
fighting
York
for
History
us
was
with
made
that
in
true New York was
1903 when
facing
the
some
Wright
of its
brothers
darkest
and
hours. We have your
boys from
back, and we
Ohio
are proud to
came to
cast
the
our
Superior
94
President
delegate
stepped
vote
up
and
and
delivered
to
for
try
the
their new
people
flying
of the state of New
craft.
York.
History was made in 1922 when WBT became an
The site of the hospital ship USS
Pursuant to the
Comfort sailing
announcement
into
of
our
this
harbor
delegation
and
and
is
the
still
rules and
broadcasting
procedures of
today,
this
bold
just a
convention,
message
few
to the
miles
people
down
of our
the
state that our
Newscast,
president
History was
94
made
votes
there
in
to
for
2010
President Donald
when, for
J.
the first
Trump.
time since the Civil War,
Even our
North
governor,
Carolina
Andrew
won the
Cuomo,
control of both the
congratulated
North
him and
Carolina
thanked him
House
for that
and
tremendous
Senate.
support.
And while they
And it was a
inherited
terrible
close
shame
to
last week
$6
when
billion
that same
in
governor
debt
went to
and
his
budget
party's
deficits
convention
from the
and lied about our
Democrats,
president's
they quickly
leadership
turned that
in this
into
crisis.
$11 billion
History is made in North
surplus
Carolina with
while
our first
passing
settlement
New York
in the
is
late
the tax cut
1580s.
in North
and as one-
Carolina history. The Carolina comeback is real, and it continues, and it will get better when we elect Dan Forest as our next governor, and we return Senator Thom Tillis to the Senate. And history will be made in 2020 when North Carolina leads the nation in re-electing President Donald J. Trump. North Carolina proudly cast all 71 votes for President Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of this delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, North Carolina cast 71 votes President Trump. North Dakota, 29 delegates with the following bound delegates. 29, President Trump.
Madam Secretary, my name is John Trandom, Chairman of the North Dakota delegation. North Dakota is home to the biggest Republican in this room, outgoing National Committee woman Sandy Beeler. We're thankful for her service. North Dakota is the safest state in the nation because we respect life, because we value family as the cornerstone of our society,
North Dakota is the safest state
because
in
we
the
support
nation.
private enterprise,
Because we
because we
respect life.
exercise our Second Amendment
Because we
rights,
value family as the cornerstone
because we
of our
stand
society.
for our flag,
Because we support
for
private
our
enterprise.
military,
Because
for
we
our
exercise
police,
our Second Amendment rights.
and because we prayerfully
Because
support
we
our
stand
president and vice
for our
president.
flag, for
North
our
Dakota's
military,
29 delegates
for our
proudly
police,
cast all of their votes
and because
for
we
President
prayerfully
Donald J.
support our
Trump.
president and vice president. North Dakota's 29 delegates proudly cast all of their votes
Pursuant
for
to the
President Donald
announcement of
J.
the
Trump.
delegation and the rules of the procedures of the convention, North Dakota cast 29 votes for President Donald Trump. And the rules of the procedures of the Northern Mariana Islands, 9 delegates with the following bound delegates. 9 for President Trump. The Northern Mariana Islands.
Hafa from the Commonwealth of the
9
Northern
delegates with
Mariana
the following
Islands,
bound delegates.
the only territory
9
with a
for
Republican
President
governor
Trump.
and a Republican majority in our legislature. In early March of 2016, Governor Torres proudly endorsed Donald J. Trump for president, becoming the only territory governor to do so and the third governor nationwide. Unlike previous administrations, President Trump has never turned his back on our islands and our people, almost 8,000 miles away from Washington, D.C. President Trump and his administration have greatly helped us recover from 2 devastating typhoons. Our people are deeply patriotic, and our sons and daughters proudly step up and serve in the U.S. Armed Forces, making us one of the highest per capita in the nation. Tourism is our primary economy, and we strongly encourage everyone to visit our deep blue oceans and beautiful beaches. On behalf of Governor Ralph De Leon Guerrero Torres and the entire Republican Party of the CNMI, Madam Secretary, the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands is proud to cast its 9 votes for President Donald J. Trump.
And the rules of the procedures of the convention, North Dakota cast 29 votes for President Donald Trump. And procedures of this convention, the Northern Mariana Islands cast 9 delegates for the following bound delegates. 9 for President Trump. Ohio, the Northern Mariana Islands,
Hafa
82
from the
delegates
Commonwealth
for
of the
the
Northern
following
Mariana
bound
Islands,
delegates.
the only
82
territory
President
with a
Trump.
Republican governor and a Republican
Madam
majority
Secretary,
in our
I
legislature.
stand for the
In
state
early
of
March
Ohio.
of 2016, Governor Torres proudly endorsed Donald J. Trump for president, becoming the only territory governor to do
Birthplace
so
of
and the
presidents,
third governor
father of
nationwide.
aviation,
Unlike
and
previous
mother of
administrations,
astronauts.
President Trump has never
Home
turned his
to
back
working
on our
men and
islands and
women
our people,
who
almost
appreciate
8,000 miles
a
away from
president
Washington,
that puts
D.C.
America first.
President Trump and his
President
administration
who
have greatly
defends
helped us
our
recover
brave
from 2
law
devastating
enforcement
typhoons.
officers. I am
Our
Bob
people
Paducek,
are deeply
son
patriotic, and our sons and daughters proudly step up and serve in the U.S. Armed Forces, making us one of the highest per capita in the nation. Our deeply patriotic tourism is our primary economy, and we strongly encourage everyone to visit our deep blue oceans and beautiful beaches. On behalf of Governor Ralph DeLeon,
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention,
Republican Party of the
Ohio cast
CNMI,
82
Madam Secretary, the
votes for
Commonwealth of the
President
Northern
Trump.
Mariana Islands is proud to cast its 9 votes for
Oklahoma.
President Donald J.
43
Trump.
delegates with the following bound and the rules of the procedures of the convention. North Dakota cast
Pursuant to
29
the
votes.
votes.
This
Delegation
President Donald
Chair.
Trump and procedures
And
of
the
this
great state of
convention.
Oklahoma.
The Northern
State
Mariana
which
Islands
proudly
cast
provides
9
Senate
delegates
with
with
two
the
great
following
senators,
bound delegates.
Senator James
9
Inhofe
for
and James
President
Blanken,
Trump.
who are strong
Ohio,
advocates
Mariana
in
Islands,
defending
82
from the
delegates
Commonwealth
our
with the
national
following
Mariana
bound
Islands.
delegates.
and for the protection of
81
Only
unborn
territory
President
with a
Trump.
Republican
state
governor
which proudly
and a Republican
Madam
majority
Secretary,
in our
I
legislature.
stand for the
In
state
early
of
March
Ohio.
of 2016, Governor Torres proudly endorsed Donald
which
J.
devote
Trump
their
as
lives to protect
previous
Mother of
administration.
astronauts.
Previous
Mother of
administration,
astronauts.
President Trump has never turned his back
Working
on our
men and
islands and
women
our people,
who
almost
appreciate
3,000 miles
a
away from
president
Washington,
that
D.C.
puts America first.
President Trump and his
President
administration
who
have greatly
defends
helped us
our
recover
brave
from
law
devastating
enforcement
typhoons.
officers
without fear of
I
being
am
Our
Bob
people
Beechey,
are deeply
son of
patriotic,
a
and our
state
sons
where
and daughters
people
proudly step up and serve in the U.S. Armed Forces, making us one of the highest per capita in the nation.
Proudly governed.
Tourism is our
Yet
primary
enshrined for us
economy,
in
and we
the Bill of
strongly
Rights,
encourage everyone to
which includes,
visit
among
our
others,
deep blue oceans and beautiful beaches.
religion,
On behalf
and the right
of
for
Governor
our
Ralph
own
DeLeon,
self-defense
Pursuant
and the
to
right
the
to bear
announcement
arms.
of the delegation and the
State in
rules
which
and
all
procedures of
77
this
counties,
convention,
Republican Party of the
Ohio
CNMI,
cast 82
Madam
votes
Secretary, the
for
Commonwealth of the
President
Northern
Trump.
Mariana Islands
2020.
is proud to cast its 9
Oklahoma.
votes for President Donald J.
Chairman, David
43
McClain,
delegates with the
along
following
with our
bound
national
and the rules
committee
of the procedure of the
Committeewoman Carol
convention.
Carter,
North
Delegate
Dakota
Stan Pollard,
cast
Florida, and
29 votes. This
and the
delegate
rest of our
President Donald
delegates
Trump and procedures
to
of
the
this
great state
convention.
has its 43
The Northern
state
Mariana
which
Islands
proudly
cast
provides
9
President
votes
of the
for
United States,
President
two great
Trump.
Senator
Bound
Donald J.
delegates.
Senator James
9
Inhofe
for
and James
President
Blanken,
Trump.
who are strong
Ohio,
advocates in
Hot
defending
day
Eighty-two
from the
delegates
Commonwealth
our
of the
national
Northern
committee
Mariana
and
Islands,
for the protection
the
of
only
unborn
territory with a
President
Republican
state
governor
which proudly
and a Republican
Madam
majority
Secretary,
in our
I
legislature.
stand for the
In
state
early
of
March of
Ohio.
2016, Governor Torres
Police
proudly endorsed
Oregon.
Donald
which
J.
devote their
Trump.
Oregon,
lives to
20
Previous
delegates
administration,
with the following bound
Previous
delegates.
administration, President Trump has never turned his back
Working
on our
men and
islands and our
women
people,
who
almost
appreciate
3,000 miles
a
away from
president
Washington,
that
D.C.
puts America first.
President Trump and his administration
who
have greatly helped us
defends our
recover
brave
from
law
devastating
enforcement
typhoons.
officers.
without fear of
I am
Our
being
people
Bob Beechey,
are deeply
son of
patriotic,
a
and our
state
sons
where
and daughters
people
proudly step up and
America
serve in the
and
U.S.
Ohio
Armed Forces,
is the
making us one of the highest per capita in the nation. Tourism is our primary economy, and we strongly encourage everyone to visit our deep blue oceans and beautiful beaches.
religion,
On behalf
and the right
of
for
Governor
our
Ralph
own
DeLeon,
Pursuant
and the
to the
right to bear
announcement
arms.
of the delegation
President
and the
State
rules
which all
and procedures of this
77
convention,
Republican Party of the
Ohio
CNMI,
cast
Madam
82
Secretary, the
votes
Commonwealth
for
of the
President
Northern
Trump.
Mariana Islands is
2020.
proud to cast its 9 votes
Oklahoma.
for President Donald J.
Chairman, David
43
McClain,
delegates with the
Trump
following
stood
bound
up
and the rules of the procedure of the convention. North
Delegate
Dakota
Stan Pollard,
cast
Florida, and
29 votes. This delegate President Donald Trump and procedures of this convention. The Northern Mariana Islands cast 9 votes for President Trump. Bound delegates.
Senator James
9
Inhofe
for
and James
President
Blanken,
Trump.
who are strong
Ohio,
advocates in
Hot
defending
day
82
from the
delegates
Commonwealth
our
of the
national
Northern
committee
Mariana
Mariana
Islands,
Islands.
for the
Delegate
the only
for
territory with a
President
Republican
state
governor
which proudly
and a Republican
Madam
majority
Secretary,
in our
I
legislature.
stand for the
In
state
early
of
March
Ohio.
2016, Governor Torres proudly endorsed Donald
which
Trump
devote their
as
lives
Therefore,
previous administration.
Previous
President Trump has never turned his back
Working
on our
men and
islands and our
women
people,
who
almost
appreciate
3,000 miles
a
away from
president
Washington,
that puts
D.C.
America first.
President Trump and his administration have greatly helped us
Our
recover
brave
from
law
devastating
enforcement
typhoons.
officers.
I am
Our
Bob
people
Beechey,
are deeply
son of a
patriotic, and our
state
sons
where
and daughters
people
proudly step up and
America
serve in the
and
U.S.
Ohio
Armed
is
Forces,
the
making us one of the highest per capita in the nation. Tourism is our primary economy, and we strongly encourage everyone to visit our deep blue
88
oceans
delegates
and beautiful beaches. On behalf of Governor Ralph DeLeon,
and the
the
right to bear
announcement of the delegation
President
and the
State
rules
which all
and procedures of this
77
convention.
Republican Party of the CNMI, Madam Secretary, the Commonwealth of the Northern Carolina
represent
is proud to
the
cast
great
its 9 votes for
Pennsylvania,
President Donald
also
J.
known
Trump.
as
President
Trump.
One of the first governors of North Dakota cast 29 votes to President Donald Trump. Procedures of the convention. The North Carolina
and we will do that again in 2020. I'm proud that Pennsylvania's 88 with the President when we pray, and we stand for the flag, President Donald J. Trump.
Previous administration, President Trump has never turned back on our island and our people. Almost 8,000 miles away from Washington, D.C. President Trump and his administration have greatly helped us return to our devastation and almost freedom. Our people are deeply patriotic and our sons and daughters proudly stand by Canada and the U.S. Air Force, protecting us one of the highest per capita in the nation. Tourism is our primary economy, and we strongly encourage everyone to visit our deep traditions and on behalf of Governor Ralph Giuliani,
announcement of the delegation.
Territorial ordinance and
honored to represent
proud to cast its 9 votes for President Donald J. Trump.
President Trump.
We will do that again in 2020. I'm proud that Pennsylvania's 88 with the President that we make sure when we pray, and we stand for the flag, President Donald J. Trump.
Previous administration, President Trump has never turned back on our island and our people. Almost 8,000 miles away from Washington, D.C. President Trump and his administration have greatly helped us
Rhode Island,
our people are deeply patriotic and
evidence just yesterday by hundreds of votes that huge Americans today to rally for President Donald Trump.
we strongly encourage everyone to
We have a long history from our founding of religious freedom to the Pennsylvania standing atop our state house. As a minority party in the smallest state, we carry out tradition by standing up to the tyranny of both decades of one party policy to help and minimize like Montana and Delaware shift their claims in Charlotte to celebrate the nation's worldwide parade celebrating our memories of Rock Point, lights of the water on fire, and yes, we are responsible Rhode Island style. We believe in promise made and promise kept, and we know that the best is yet to come. So the biggest political delegation of Rhode Island, state of Rhode Island, proudly stand united to pass yesterday by President Donald J. Trump to rally for President Donald Trump. We have a long history from our founding Rhode Island religious freedom to territorial president standing atop our state house. As a minority party, 50 delegates, we carry out tradition by standing up to the tyranny of both decades of one party.
Secretary, I'm Henry McMaster, delegate and governor of the great state of South Carolina. My wife Katie and I are proud owners of 2 Hyatt University buildings. We will do that again. South Carolina is also the home of the President of Science and Public Forum that was settled in 16 Then we had voted for them. So today we proudly and happily introduce the 5th of our principal president of the United States, John F. Kennedy. Thank you.
Yes, so the biggest political delegation of Rhode Island, state of Rhode Island, proudly stand united to pass yesterday by President Donald J. Trump.
We're known as the Sunshine State. We have the best beaches in the world. They're second to none. We have a great economy. We have no income tax. We believe in the great American comeback. We believe there's one leader that will deliver us prosperity once again, that will defend the rule of law, and that will bring great things back to our country. We're listening to America's number one anti-communist freedom fighting senator. We're home to America's number one senator for economic jobs. Work for us again, Senator Rick Scott. We're home to America's favorite governor, Ron DeSantis, the toughest sanctuary city man in the entire country. And he welcomes over 1,000 people a day from failed leadership states like New York, including individuals like our new favorite son, Donald J. Trump. It's for the 122 delegates that are back at home and 5 great Republicans we have right now. And it's an honor for us to award 122 delegate votes to the next President of the United States to delay his full-time relocation back to his home state of Florida. Donald J. Trump is the President of the United States. We're known as the Sunshine State. We have the best beaches in the world. They're second to none. We have a great economy. We believe in the great American comeback. We believe there's one leader that will deliver us prosperity once again, that will defend the rule of law, and that will bring great things back to our country.
it, I'll say it again. There's never been a person that needed a if we didn't shut it down at that point, we got China in spite of the pandemic, the promise did a great job of stabilizing the state of and many of them came on November 4th, I always say it, I'll say it again. There's never been a person that needed it. Wouldn't be there for 2 years if this were just about the moratorium. So now, I just want to thank everybody for the if we didn't shut it down at that point, we got China 28 days at home, but I want every chance I had. I even stole a great people see it all so in spite of the pandemic, the promise did a great job, and he left Congress as a very popular man. The state was and many of them came so I just want to thank everybody from North Carolina. And Joe Biden on November 4th, I always say it, I'll say it again. There's never been a person that needed wouldn't be there for 2 years if this were one of the moratorium. So now, I just want to thank everybody for the I even stole a great in spite of the pandemic, the promise did a great job, and he left Congress as a very popular man. The state was so I'm going to thank you guys. And we worked something in the middle. So I just want to thank everybody for and Joe Biden on November 4th, I always say it, I'll say it again. There's never been a person that needed what's more important to me, the road 2 years, what's called it. What's more important? So, and I have to say one thing. Because I came in and I put everything I even got a and he left Congress have our roll work something in the middle. So I just want to thank everybody for It's interesting, you see the different states, and we say this and we say that. The great state of Alaska, the great state of Alabama, the great state of North Carolina, the great state of all of them. And it's very interesting to me. They had theirs on, but they didn't show it. Instead, they're showing the scam. They're trying to show the post office so that when their whole mail-in thing fizzles, they'll try blaming it on the post office. Okay, so they're showing these hearings that are very boring, actually. And they're not showing this either. They weren't showing this. And Fox had it on, but unfortunately Fox wasn't showing it too much because they had the announcers talking. I said, I want to hear what they're saying. The delegates, I want to hear what they're saying. So I think we had to switch over to C-SPAN or to OAN or somebody. But I wanted to hear them. But I can promise you a few things. Number one, we will not be taking the word God out of the Pledge of Allegiance, okay? Like they did a number of times at their caucuses, so they took the word God out. I heard it. I was listening. I said, that's strange, sort of weird. You've heard it all your life, right? Under God. All of a sudden, those two words are missing. I said, oh, he must have made a mistake. He must have, maybe the teleprompter wasn't working, or his book wasn't working that I have right here. Something wasn't working. Must have meant. But the problem was then the next day I heard it again. I said, that's not a mistake. That's pretty. And then they immediately went into a mode. No, we didn't mean that. No. We didn't say it for the convention. We didn't say it. No, that's where they're coming from. You can say it or not say it. That is where they're coming from. Just like with energy, they don't want energy. Not working well in Texas, by the way. I just looked at a poll. And by the way, it just came out that we have received 51% in the big and very important Rasmussen poll, and my numbers actually went up during the Democratic National Convention, 51%. So think of it. Thank you. I love this state. I like this place. And you're from all over the place, but this has been a good one for me. No, but think of it. So we're at 51% in Rasmussen. Do you read about it? Do you hear about it? You don't hear about it. They give you these suppression polls where they do registered voters instead of most likely. It's supposed to be likely. In other words, how about you? You're likely to vote. But how about you? You're registered, but I'm not voting. But see, under their plan, where they send these ballots, you don't have to want to vote. You get the ballot, and then they have harvesting. They get guys to go, do you want to vote? No, not really, but I have a ballot. All right, good. Who's it for? Sleepy Joe Biden. I'll put it here, son. Okay, can I have it? And they'll take it. In fact, harvesting is illegal in your state. They wanted to put a Republican, fine man, a pastor. They wanted to put him in jail because he harvested. Now they want to make harvesting legal all of a sudden. They'll put him in jail as a Republican, right? If he was a Democrat, they wouldn't even be thinking about it. In California, they do the same thing. No repercussion. In North Carolina, you had a fine pastor, a fine man, and they got him on harvesting. They wanted to put him in jail. And now they want to make it all so that everybody can harvest, because they know it's not a good thing. So people that don't want to vote are going to be sitting there. They'll be making them, if you talk about 80 million ballots, it's 80 million, could even be higher than that. I used to say 51 million, now it's 80 million. They said, sir, you're a little obsolete. I said, all right, what is it? 80. I said, 80?
మీ అన్నేమో ఈవిడ బూతులు మాట్లాడతాడు, నువ్వేమో ఇంకో నీ తమ్ముడి పెళ్ళానుకుంటావు. ఏం ఫ్యామిలీ నీ ఫ్యామిలీ? నాకు అర్థం కాదు. మీ అన్నకి పళ్ళు రాలగొట్టేస్తాను. ఏం వావి వరుసలు లేవు కొడతాను. మళ్ళీ ఎక్కువ మాట్లాడు. ఏ రోజైతే నీ తమ్ముడి పిల్లల్ని తీసుకొచ్చి నువ్వు కాపురం చేస్తున్నావు ఆ రోజు నీ క్యారెక్టర్ చచ్చిపోయింది. నీ తమ్ముడు పిల్లలు నువ్వు తెచ్చి పెట్టుకుంటావు, మీ అన్నేమో ఆవిడ జుట్టు పట్టుకుంటాడు, ఆవిడ చీర పట్టుకొని లాగుతాడు, గోడలకేసి కొడతాడు. ఎవడిచ్చాడు మీకు రైట్ కొట్టడానికి?
Democrat states and Democrat
మాట్లాడడానికి మాట్లాడే రైట్స్ లేదు.
to Republican neighborhoods.
జట్కా బండికి ఇస్తే వెళ్ళిపోయి ఏం చేసినా చేయపోలే అని మాట్లాడి.
And then they're going to complain and then they'll say, oh, well, you didn't get it, big deal. In the meantime, you might lose the election. This is the greatest scam in the history of politics, I think, and I'm talking about beyond our nation. And they act like they're aggrieved, like by saying this, we're saying such a horrible thing. We're not patriotic by saying this. No, we voted during World War I. We voted at the voting booth during World War II. The pandemic, we're doing very well, and people know how to handle it. Look at the crowds. They're doing very well. It's very safe. It's going to be very safe. If you have an absentee ballot where you request it, we're all in favor of that. Absentee, like in Florida, they have absentee is good. But other than that, they're very, very bad. There'll be millions of ballots. Take a look at New York. Take a look at Virginia. Take a look at New Jersey. All different cases. They just had one last night. Now they're thinking about recalling certain elections that took place with mail-in. And these are small little elections that are locally based that are easy to run. Not millions, but thousands of ballots. Thousands, hundreds of ballots. But these are small, and they can't control it. You said 23% of the ballots were defective. What does defective mean? It means fraud. It means a lot of things that we won't get into because I don't want to be accused. You see what the camera's back there? It's the fake news. I don't want to be accused of anything. But what it means is they're trying to steal the election from the Republicans. That's what it means. In a very, very nice way, I will tell you, they are trying to steal the election, just like they did it last time with spying, and we caught them, and that included President Obama, and that included, let's be nice, Biden. This could only happen in North Carolina. But that included them, and they got caught. And then somebody said, well, what are you going to do? Well, we can't attack a president. Oh, I see. If it was me. They said, we can't attack a president. We caught him. We caught him cold. And they say, we can't attack. He was at meetings talking about it. And by the way, this was spying before and after. And I think it's a disgrace to our country. I think we can never let that happen again. But now they're doing something that in a certain way is more dangerous because it's more effective. They spied on my campaign. You know what they found? Nothing. But this is big stuff. This is stealing millions of votes, and it's going to be very hard. Now, we're in courts all over the country, and hopefully we have judges that are going to give it a fair call, because if they give it a fair call, we're going to win this election. The only way they can take this election away from us is if this is a rigged election. We're going to win this election. We're going to win this election. So I'm just saying we cannot have these live, we call them live. Some people call them universal. I like the word live. These live mail-in ballots sent to everybody, including mostly people that never asked for them. Think of it. You're sitting there, you get a ballot. Here's the bottom line. It was just given that in the polls, believe it or not, that because the polls try and treat us right. That's why I respect Rasmussen, because they did well. A few of the others feel the same way, and they did well last time. Those are the ones that I look at, the ones that did well last time. And Rasmussen was very good. But if you look at it, every single vote that they have, every single vote, it's going to be looked at. A man is sitting, or a woman is sitting, waiting for nothing, watching television, has no enthusiasm. Because on enthusiasm, the polls are saying that I'm up by massive numbers, not just a little. I'm also way up on the economy, by the way, put it down. Way up. But I'm up by massive, and when I say I'm up, I'm talking about we're up, okay? So if you could, please. But I'm up by massive numbers on enthusiasm. So our voters are saying, I'm very angry about this, I'll go to the poll directly and vote. But their voters are saying, I don't care if Biden gets in. He doesn't have any enthusiasm. When you go to Ohio, when you go to Wisconsin, when you go to North Carolina, when you go to a lot of states, they have the Trump-Pence sign on every lawn. It's all over the place, right? It's all over. We don't see Indiana too. Indiana's great. Bobby Knight. We love Bobby Knight too, I'll tell you. We love Bobby Knight and Coach Holtz and all of them. They love us and we love them. Indiana's great. Thank you. But here's the thing. So if they don't have any enthusiasm, so you'd say, are you going to vote? I'm not getting up to vote. Okay, I want to watch television instead of vote. All right. But here's a ballot. It just got to you. And he opens it. Oh, here's a ballot. What the hell am I going to do with this thing? And then they have somebody knocking on your door, and they're harvesting. Hey, have you gotten your ballot? Yeah, I have my ballot. You going to sign it? Well, if you want, I'll sign it. Here it is. Get out of here. That's the most honest way of doing it. And that's unfair. That's unfair. Because now they're taking all of that enthusiasm that our party has, and we have tremendous enthusiasm. I think we have record enthusiasm. We have a base. We have a base the likes of which nobody's seen, including these people. Wall Street Journal did a fantastic story this weekend, a fantastic cover story this weekend on this base. Is an incredible base. Everybody here is going to vote. Everybody in our base. I mean, we have a tremendous base. They don't. They have no enthusiasm for their candidate. Because frankly, Bernie Sanders, they have much more enthusiasm for him. But Bernie Sanders, excuse me, again, he's the greatest loser I've ever seen. This guy can lose and be so happy. Hillary Clinton, I want to use nice language, so I don't want to use a certain word. It starts with the word S, C. I don't want to use it because they'll say he used foul language while in North Carolina. But so I won't do that. But Bernie Sanders got taken advantage of, is that okay? By Hillary Clinton, but worse, by the Democrats this time. Because of Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, got out of the campaign one day prior to the Super Tuesday vote. Bernie Sanders would have won every single state because Biden won by a little bit, and she didn't do well, but she took thousands and thousands of votes away in each state. If you add just a percentage of those votes back, that means that Bernie would have won easily the nomination. And I'm glad he didn't because he had much more enthusiasm. Yeah. And he would have had a base, much smaller base than ours, but equally, I have to say this, equally as enthusiastic. This base doesn't like Joe Biden. They don't like Joe Biden. I think we're going to get a lot of votes. We did last time. People were surprised, primarily because of trade, because I know how other countries take advantage of us, and I understand that. And that's something that Bernie Sanders people really feel, because I understand trade. I've done USMCA now. I got rid of NAFTA, the world's worst trade deal. China tariffs. I mean, China had the worst year they've had in 67 years prior to the plague. The worst year they've had in decades and decades. And we had the best year we've ever had. But we took in billions from China. We never took in 10 cents from China. Never took in 10 cents. They took China for 25 years, and not only Obama, for 25 years, China was taking in anywhere between 200 billion with a B and $550 billion from the United States. I give them all the credit, number one, for being smart and outfoxing all of the people that stood here and their representatives. But China, we built China. We helped build. We gave them $300, $400, $500 billion a year. Because before that, and before the World Trade Organization and they getting into it, China was flatlined. It was after that happened. And then they took advantage of us because we didn't have people that were smart enough to see. And by the way, Biden would be the worst of all of them because his son took out $1.5 billion and he gets fees on $1.5 billion, which is millions of dollars a year. Give me a break. China will own our country if this guy gets elected. We can't let it happen. We can't let it happen. So we have a big one coming. And just to finish, enthusiasm. So they take the enthusiasm now out of the equation because they're going to go knock on everybody's door. Here, would you sign this? Yeah, I'll sign it. Nobody knows who the hell is signing it. And they now want to have it where the signature doesn't have to be verified. No, that's right. The signature doesn't have to be verified. And then they're going to play the game that we're not patriotic. Right. Yeah. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Right. They're using COVID to defraud the American people, all of our people, of a fair and free election. And we can't do that. And don't let them give you the post office stuff. The Postal Service, they do a great job. Lose a lot of money. I've said if they charged Amazon and these companies doing that, a couple of dollars more a package that Amazon has to pay, not the customer. Right. You know what would happen? Post office would start doing very well, thank you. Yeah. Amazon dumps all the packages. Why should we deliver it? We'll let the post office do it, lose a fortune. So if they charged Amazon, now of course he owns the Washington Post, so when I get bad stories in the Washington Post, I wonder why, right? I wonder why. But I just tell it like it is, right? I tell it like it is. We've accomplished more during the first 3.5 years of this administration than any president in the history of our country. And I'm not even getting, pushback. I've been saying this for 2 years, for 3 years. I used to say for 2 years, for 3 years. But we've done more, let's say just about. This way they can't say, well, somebody won a war or something, right? No. We've accomplished more than just about any administration in the history of our country. We've secured our borders. We've built our wall, which will be finished very shortly. We brought back manufacturing jobs. We've defeated the ISIS caliphate and killed al-Baghdadi. We also killed the greatest, biggest terrorist, maybe of them all, Soleimani. We killed Soleimani, right? And al-Baghdadi. We appointed 300 new judges. By the end of the first term, we will have appointed 300. It's an unheard of number. That's because President Obama was very nice and he gave me 142 openings. And historically, you get no open. When you become president, first question you say, how many judges? They'll say, none, sir. Because the other previous president, they want to, it's a very important thing, federal judges. So we will have appointed 300, could be even more than that by the end of the first term. And I sat down, first day I said, how many judges do I get to appoint? They said, sir, 142. I said, 100, because you know what? He thought that Hillary was going to win. Right? And the Republicans did not make it easy, let's say, but if you have enough time, there's not much anybody can do about it. We ended up with 142 judges, and then we've added many, many, and we're going to end up with 302 great Supreme Court justices. And remember this, I'm saying that I'm demanding, actually, a list. Let Biden put up a list of the judges he's going to appoint, that he'll take them out like I did. I had 25, and we're going to take it out of that list. And we're going to be announcing a list over the next couple of weeks with the judges that we had, plus we might add a few more, so you know exactly where we stand. He can't do it because he would appoint, it's not him, he has no choice. The radical left will demand that he appoints super radical left, wild, crazy justices going into the Supreme Court. Your American dream will be dead if that happens. It'll be dead. And by the way, the next president, so I've had two. Some presidents have had none. I have had two in a relatively short period of time. But I will tell you that the next one could have 2, 3, 4, and even 5. The next president. This is so important. Whether you're talking about life, whether you're talking about Second Amendment, whether you're talking about military, this is so important. We have to do this. We have to win this election. But we brought back manufacturing. We rebuilt our military. We wiped out ISIS. Think of it. When I came, ISIS was all over Iraq, the Prime Minister of Iraq was in last week, and he said, I want to thank you for defeating ISIS. I said, now, are you talking about me or the United States? You. Because when you came into office, it was a mess. They were all over Iraq and Syria, and you defeated them, sir. I said, good. Tell that to the media, please. Would you do that? And he said, I will, so let's see if he does. But we passed the biggest tax cuts and regulation cuts in the history of our country. We replaced the worst trade deal ever made, NAFTA, with a great USMCA deal that's going to keep our companies here, and it's going to be treating us very nicely. And I wouldn't say the other two countries were thrilled with it, but they were happy enough. And we did that, and that's another thing. They said, you'll never be able to replace NAFTA. You'll never be able to get it. And I got it. We got it through Congress. We fixed a lot of our broken and bad trade deals. We're getting $40 billion now from Japan. We fixed a horrible deal that was made with South Korea. Remember, I was a Hillary Clinton special. She said, this will produce 250,000 jobs. And she was right. Except, unfortunately, the jobs went to South Korea, not to us. Okay? She said it would produce 250,000 jobs. And it did, to South Korea. And we stood up to China like nobody's ever stood up between the tariffs and the trade deal, which now, don't forget, when I made that, the ink wasn't dry before the China virus poured into our country, right? The ink wasn't dry. So I view that differently than I would have viewed, because it's done very well. Last week they had the largest order of corn, the largest order of soybeans. They're doing things, you know, they're very smart. A lot of people, because they see my attitude, a lot of people would say, we're not going to order. They do just the opposite. I got a call last week, sir. In fact, Sonny Perdue is here, the great Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture. He's here. There he is. Is that right, Sonny? I got a call. They ordered the largest. It was the largest order of corn in the history of our country. Twice. The largest order of corn, the largest order of soybeans. So here's how smart. Somebody else would say, running some country, you know, they'd say, well, we're not going to do business with him. He's not saying nice things about it. China's very smart. Instead, they order more corn than we've ever thought possible, right, Sonny? Order more soybeans than we ever thought possible. And now I have farmers calling me up, sir, we love China very much. Please don't be too tough on them, please. It makes it very difficult, Sonny, right? You know, we do too good a job sometimes. We've achieved American energy independence, and we're now number one in the world by far. And I saw where these phonies, you know, they want to end everything we've done. They want to end it. They want to go to wind. They don't even know if they want to go to wind. I think they want to just basically close up our country because they're taking away our strength. But they want to do something, but there is no such thing. Solar can't do it. I love solar, it's all fine. You know, very, very heavily expensive, very expensive. But they want to go to other forms of alternative energy. And I think that's okay, except we don't have them. And it's not going to power these massive factories. So we need, and hydro I love. It's one of my all-time favorites. Hydro I love, I have to tell you. That's the great dams. You don't see that too much. You know why? The environmentalists say you can't build a dam there. But now we can, because we've done things that nobody thought were possible. Like, example, the Keystone Pipeline, we got that approved. The Dakota Access Pipeline, they were all bogged down, right? I got it approved. Now we've got things that they said you couldn't get done. So we're energy independent, and they said we want to ban fracking. Right? No fracking. How do you think they'll do in Texas, Oklahoma, North Dakota? Louisiana's going to love it. There's no fracking. There's basically, they want no fossil fuel whatsoever, okay? No gas, no oil, no coal, no nothing, okay? So they don't want anything. Now they're getting killed because a poll just came out in Texas. Texas wasn't happy. They want no guns, they want no oil and gas, and they want no God. No God. So it's no religion, no guns, right? No oil and gas. I don't think you're going to do too good in Texas. You know, George Washington could come back from the dead, and he could choose as his VP candidate the late, great Abraham Lincoln. And you're not going to win the state of Texas if you have No oil, no guns, and no religion. I don't think so. You're not going to win too many places. We eliminated Obamacare's horrible and very unfair individual mandate, which basically knocked out Obamacare. It knocked out Obamacare. We've protected your Second Amendment, so important. We've protected your Second Amendment. We've cut drug prices, first time in 51 years. We got drug prices down. Now I did a favored nations clause, meaning we pay the same price as the lowest country that has the best deal. The companies are going crazy, the drug companies. They're taking ads on me. I said, I went to Mark Meadows. I said, Mark, they're killing me. They're spending, they have nothing but cash, okay? Big Pharma, they call it, for a reason. There's nobody that gives the politicians more money than Big Pharma. Nobody, not even close. So I said, well, look, if you're not going to negotiate a fair deal, we're going to do a favored nations clause to the top people, the biggest guys. They said, no, don't do that, favored nations. Don't. Favored nations, because, we have countries out there that are paying a tiny fraction of what our people are expected to pay. So if you have a country, Germany or others, they make, by the way, UK, all of Europe, Canada pays 50%, 50% less. In fact, people leave our country, go to Canada, pick up their drugs, and they come back home. Can you believe it? This is the kind of difference. So I say, no, I want a favored nations clause. I also want a rebate clause, a rebate where instead of the money going to the middleman, who have to be the richest people in the world, they get so much. They get more money, frankly, than the drug companies. At least the drug companies make a product. So I wiped out the rebate where now it goes to people, and I instituted what's called a favored nations clause. And it's very simple. You have that in deals. It's whatever the lowest price in the world. We're the biggest purchaser of prescription drugs by far in the world. So whatever the lowest price is that other countries pay. So if you have a country paying 10 cents for a pill and we're paying $2.50, and it's not such an exaggeration, believe me, then we get it for 10. So what happens is that doesn't work, so they'll go up a little bit, we'll come way, way down. So I said, favored nations, I want to pay what the lowest price is anywhere in the world. We're the biggest purchaser. We want a favored nations. They had a heart attack, and then I signed it. They didn't believe it. They didn't believe it. And now what they're doing is they have ads, millions and millions of dollars worth of ads that I've been horrible to the people because of drugs, and I believe in socialism. Socialism. You know why? Because some of the socialistic countries get the lowest price. So the only thing I have with socialism is I want to get their price, okay? That's the only thing. Other than that is our country will never be a socialist country. Okay? So we cut drug prices, and you could get cuts. You could get cuts. You could get cuts as much as 50, 60, or 70%, maybe even more than that, on prescription drug prices. And wouldn't it be a kick, I'll use this, wouldn't it be a kick in the ass if I lost and Sleepy Joe is president, and this thing kicks in right about soon, right, in 30, 40 days, and people wake up after the election. Boy, Biden's done a great job. My drug prices just went down by 70%. What a great president he's been. He's great. And Sleepy Joe would say, I thought about that, but everybody knew about favored nations, but nobody had the guts to do it. And I'll tell you, I was called by many politicians, please don't do it, sir. Please. I said, why? They don't want to tell me why. I know why, because, they're politicians and they've been helped out. And I guess we have to understand that too. But the fact is that we signed a favored nations clause and a rebate clause, and your numbers are going to come down 60, 70%. And I hope you remember that on November 3rd, because nobody but me would ever do it. The other thing I've done, aside from very strongly protecting your Second Amendment, which was not easy. That was not easy. And by the way, they will take your guns away as sure as you're standing or sitting there. They will take your guns away. Either that or obliterate the Second Amendment. The right to bear arms. You have the right to bear arms, especially when you look at a Portland and you see how weak those Democrats are. The governor, the mayor, how pathetic. They let them riot every night. We're saying, let us come in and solve your problem. We will solve it for you in 1 hour, just like we did in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right? 5 nights, 6 nights. They have to ask us in. Let us come in. We'll solve your problem. They're almost used to it. This is the way our whole country would be if you ever let a thing like this happen. Our whole country would be. So we protected your pre-existing conditions, very strongly protected pre-existing, and you don't hear that, but we very strongly protected your pre-existing conditions. So we got rid of the horrible individual mandate, which cost everybody a fortune, and we strongly protected. Every Republican is sworn to protecting your pre-existing conditions. It's very important. You won't hear that. You won't hear that from the fake news. We passed right to try. We passed VA accountability and VA choice. We mobilized the largest response since the Second World War. We are doing an incredible job on the China virus, but I'm going to talk to you about that Thursday night. Will anybody be listening on Thursday night? And just very quickly, in the second term, among many other things, we'll continue with our military. We've built the strongest military by far. It was depleted. Hello, nice Marine back there. It was depleted like you wouldn't believe. We have the best jets and rockets and equipment of any kind. Tanks made in Ohio. Lima. Tanks made in Ohio. So we're going to create 10 million jobs, I think very easily in the first 10 months. They want to raise your taxes. You know, all my life I've heard as a politician, you like to lower taxes, right? This is the only election where somebody said, we're going to raise your taxes. They're going to raise your taxes, quadruple your taxes. They're going to add on to the regulations so that all of these projects that we got started that are great projects, they won't be able to get built. So they're going to raise your taxes. They're going to raise your regulations, make it impossible to build a highway. It used to take 17 years, 18 years, 20 years, 21 years, long time in some cases, to get approval to build a highway, right? We have it down to 2 years now. We're going to have it down to 1. And it may get rejected for environmental or safety reasons, but we're going to know it very quickly. We're not going to take 17 years. We could name highways. They took forever. End up costing 100 times more, and they're not as good. Some of them go in circles, to get to a point. They want to miss a certain nest. So let's spend $37 million to miss. Look, we've got to be smart. We've got to be smart. We've got to win an election. Also, we're going to create tax credits for companies that bring our jobs back from China and other countries and impose tariffs on countries that take advantage of the United States. And they've been taking advantage of us for years and years, and I've already done it in certain cases. We have countries that tariff us and we don't tariff them. So they tariff us. It's very simple. It's called reciprocal. They tariff us, we tariff them. We are going to fully fund law enforcement and hire more police. We're going to go with school choice, and we've made a lot of progress on school choice for every student in America. We're going to continue to expand opportunity zones. There's been nothing better. Don't forget, it was us together, that got criminal justice reform done. The greatest thing for the black community, African American community. They came and they said, we can't believe it. Obama didn't even try. And not only that, I got funded the historically black colleges and universities. I got them funded. They weren't funded. They were year to year. They didn't know if they were going to be around for another year. And they'd come in to the White House, and after 3 years, I said, why do you guys keep coming back? Well, it's a year-to-year deal. I said, that's not fair. So you have to come back every year. And we got them long-term financing and long-term funding. Nobody's done more for the historically black colleges and universities than Donald Trump. Nobody. Nobody's done more for the African American community. No president has done as much as anybody since Abraham Lincoln. It's true. It's true. criminal justice reform, opportunity zones with Tim Scott of South Carolina. He's a great senator. He's a great gentleman. Tim Scott is fantastic. Opportunity zones. But think of it, criminal justice reform, opportunity zones, the colleges and universities. What we've done has been amazing. But the most important thing is prior to the virus, the greatest job numbers in the history of the African American community, the Hispanic community, and the Asian, as I said. So I just want to thank everybody. We're going to get rid of our sanctuary cities as soon as we can so that they don't protect. We put NASA back in action. NASA had grass growing through its runways. It had grass growing through the cracks of its runways. It was closed, essentially just a disaster. Now it's the #1 space center anywhere in the world by far. You saw the ships going up. And for some reason, a lot of rich people like rockets going up. And so we say, let's lease them our beautiful launching areas and let them send all the rockets. Let them pay for it. But we'll be landing on Mars. We're going to the moon. We're going to Mars. We'll be the first on Mars. Let's see if that happens. We have to do it. If we're here, it's going to happen. If somebody else is here, probably not. But I just want to, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're incredible warriors. You have incredible strength. You have unbelievable intelligence and patience. It's a combination of both. I don't know which is greater, the intelligence or the patience, but let's assume it's the intelligence, okay? But I have to tell you, I think we have the greatest base of support anywhere, at any time, any election, and people are starting to find that out. They found it out in 2016, and I will be honest, this election, I believe we have far greater enthusiasm in this election.
That's right.
And we had a level that was a record because they still don't believe what happened. They said, where are all these people coming from, right?
We love you.
People that were great Americans that never voted, but they were great because they didn't like who they were watching or looking. People were great. They didn't vote. I'll never forget a congressman from Tennessee came up. They do very early voting. Tennessee, a great state. And they had just started voting, and I was in Pennsylvania making a speech, and he said, sir, I don't know, I can't speak for anybody, but I'm from Tennessee, and I've been doing this for a long time. He said, I've never seen anything like it. People are coming from the valleys and the hilltops, and they're coming from the cities. They're coming from all over. I never said they're coming out of the rivers. They're coming along those beautiful war fields that we have. They're coming from everywhere. Sir, I've never seen anything like it. But if other states are like Tennessee, you're going to win this election. He was the first one to say it. He was the first one. They came from the mountains. They came from everywhere. He said, I've never seen anything like it. And people that be having trumpets and the hats, these are people that never were political people. They never wore a pin in their life having to do with politics. It's been an incredible experience for me. It's been an incredible experience, I think, for everyone. And I'll tell you what, next year is going to be it's going to be a great, great year. It's going to be a year of tremendous success. We're fighting off this horrible thing that was delivered by China, and it was by China, and we're never going to forget it, and I let them know. We're never going to forget what they did. Because you know what? We're going to do great economically. We're going to do better economically than we did last year. You had the best year in the history of your state, but we're going to do better economically than we did last year. But we can never forget the 175,000 people, which will go up. Remember this, though. We saved millions because if we didn't move, and if I didn't put the ban on heavily infected people coming to our nation from China, that everybody told me not to do, months later they were saying we shouldn't, and then they all either apologized or admitted it was right. And Europe, I did Europe too, very early. If we didn't do that, our numbers would be at a level like you wouldn't believe. So I just want to thank everybody for this incredible support. Be very, very careful. This is going to be, and I really believe this is the most important election in the history of our country.
Yeah, it is.
Don't let them take it away from you. Don't let them take it away. North Carolina, we love you. That's why I'm here. Thank you very much. Very special people. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Delegates, we will now resume the roll call of the states. I will report the bound delegates for President Trump from South Dakota. Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, South Dakota, 29 votes for President Donald J. Trump. Tennessee, 58 delegates with the following bound delegates. 58 for President Trump.
Madam Secretary, I would like to thank the previous speaker for warming up the crowd for Tennessee. I really appreciate it. My name is Scott Golden. I'm the chairman of the Tennessee Republican Party. Tennessee is known worldwide for our music and known convention-wide for our whiskey. Tennessee this year has the privilege of celebrating 100 years of the passage of the 19th Amendment, locally known as the War of the Roses, where suffragists wore yellow. So we wear honor today. So on behalf of my two daughters and the daughters across America, Tennessee proudly casts its 58 delegates for the President of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump. Thank you.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Tennessee, 58 votes, President Donald Trump. Texas, 155 delegates with the following bound delegates. 155, President Trump.
From the Lone Star State, home of the Alamo, where Texas is proud of our rich history and our culture and our diversity. We are the job creator in the nation. Our energy industry has made America energy independent, and our agricultural industry clothes and feeds much of the world. Like President Trump, every day we thank God for the great state of Texas and this great country. And like President Trump, we are pro-life, we are pro-family, we are pro-law and order, we are pro-law enforcement, we are pro-military, we're pro-Second Amendment. And in Texas, Texans who own guns don't vote for Democrats who want to take them away. And like the Merle Haggard song said, we still wave Old Glory down at the courthouse. We stand for justice for all, and we stand for the national anthem. The president was not born in Texas, but on this day, he is our favorite son. My name is Dan Patrick. I'm proud to be chair of the Trump campaign in Texas and to be the lieutenant governor of our great state. And on behalf of our entire delegation, we cast all 155 votes for my friend. And the only hope that every American in this country has for true liberty and true freedom and true opportunity, Donald J. Trump for President of the United States of America. God bless you, Mr. President, and God bless Texas and this great country. Thank you.
Thank you. Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Texas, 155 votes for President Donald J. Trump. The Virgin Islands, 9 delegates with the following bound delegates, 9 for President Trump. Pursuant to the procedures of this convention, the Virgin Islands, 9 votes for President Donald Trump. Utah, with 40 delegates with the following bound delegates, 40 President Trump.
Madam Secretary, it's a pleasure to represent the state of Utah in the United States Senate. My name is Mike Lee, and I'm serving this week as the chairman of Utah's delegation to the Republican National Convention. Madam Secretary, Utah is home to the very first woman who ever cast a ballot under equal suffrage laws. Sarah F. Young did that in 1870, first of her kind, first of an entire series of hundreds of millions of votes that would be cast by American women, starting with Utah. In Utah, we love a lot of things. We love our families, which are very large. In fact, this gathering would be sort of a family dinner party in a family with fertility problems in Utah. We love our 5 national parks. We love our 6 national forests. We love the First Step Act, which is perhaps the hallmark legislation passed by the Trump administration, bringing about the biggest series of criminal justice reforms in an entire generation. In the state of Utah, we introduced the world to the Frisbee, to fry sauce, and to fake swear words, including fetch, flip, and freak. In Utah, we love our founding fathers, and in Utah, we love the idea of 4 more years. Madam Secretary, we, as a Utah delegation, cast all of our state's 40 delegate votes to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of the convention, Utah cast all 40 votes for President Trump. Vermont, 17 delegates with the following bound delegates, 17 for President Trump.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, for your service today and to the party. I am Deborah Bilodeau. I am the proud chairwoman from the state of Vermont, and with me today I have my crew, and that crew is Anya Tinio, Jansen Wilhoit, Laura Benner, Jay Shepard, our National Committee man, and Suzanne Butterfield, our National Committee woman. And we are from the Green Mountain state of Vermont. Also, Vermont brings to you, and this is not a challenge to you, Corey, but we have the real Vermont maple syrup. We bring you microchips, cheeses, and microbreweries. We are also the state of the home of President Calvin Coolidge. Thank you. We have some of the most accommodating homeschool policies in the country. We are proud to say that. And Vermont is the only state that has never restricted a person's right to carry concealed. And for all of you snow bunnies, we are also recognized as the ski capital of the East, so come ski with us. We are proud to cast our 17 votes for the President, Donald J. Trump. Thank you. Thank you.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Vermont cast 17 votes for President Trump. Virginia, 48 delegates with the following bound delegates, 48 President Trump.
Madam Secretary, Madam Chairman, my name is John Fredericks. I'm the delegation chairman of the great Commonwealth of Virginia. My delegates here today hail from the oldest governing body in America, where President Trump visited us 1 year ago to commemorate 400 years of democracy. Our delegates are proud of Virginia, the silent men and women working in America that represent Donald Trump's army that don't show up in the polls are coming back in 2020. President Trump is going to win again, only bigger. With the help of our new state chairman, Rich Anderson, Virginia, the People's Republic of Virginia, will be freed once again and go red.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Virginia cast 48 votes for President Donald Trump. Washington, 43 delegates with the following bound delegates. 43, President Trump.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I'm Caleb Heimlich, the chairman of the Washington State Delegation. On behalf of the Evergreen State, proudly named after our first president, the most beautiful state in the nation, home to majestic mountains, rivers, hydropower, lakes, the Pacific Ocean, home to entrepreneurs, innovators, tech companies, manufacturing, farming, agricultural, natural resources, and many other fantastic industries, and a state that well knows the consequences of Democrat rule, and they're giving in to radical socialists in Seattle. On behalf of hundreds of thousands of Republican voters and our 43 delegates, we cast all of our votes for President Donald Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Washington cast 43 votes for President Trump. West Virginia, 35 delegates with the following bound delegates. 35, President Trump.
I'm Virginia King, Delegation Chair for West Virginia. Madam Secretary, the wild, wonderful, natural resource-rich, almost heaven state of West Virginia proudly cast all of its 35 votes for our history-making president, Donald J. Trump. We pledge our country roads will help our president on his road to victory in November.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of the convention, West Virginia cast 35 votes for President Donald Trump. Wisconsin, 52 delegates with the following bound delegates. 52, President Trump.
Madam Secretary, the great state of Wisconsin, which since its statehood has led the nation, the great birthplace of the Grand Old Party, the state at the front of the abolitionist movement, where more than 1 in 3 fought against the Democrats to end slavery, the noble state that commemorated an immigrant colonel who gave his life to end slavery, with a statue on our Capitol Square that was recently toppled in violent protest by Joe Biden's defunding the police allies. The welcoming state that just hosted President Donald J. Trump last week, Monday, and hosted Vice President Pence last Wednesday. The proud state ignored by Joe Biden for the last 664 days and counting. The dairy state of Wisconsin, where our world-famous cheese curds will be served at the celebration when we deliver our 10 electoral votes for President Donald J. Trump to put him back in the White House. The decisive state of Wisconsin, with gratitude for our president who has heard those who have been ignored for so long, thankfully casts every one of our 52 votes for Donald J. Trump.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Wisconsin cast 52 votes for President Trump.
The chair is prepared to announce the results. The following candidates received the following votes.
I have Wyoming.
Oh, Wyoming, sorry. They told me to come out. My bad. Sorry, Wyoming, we love you.
Oh, Wyoming, 29 delegates with the following bound delegates. 29, President Trump.
Last but not least, I'm I'm Marty Halverson, Delegation Chairman of Wyoming, the last best place on earth, the way America used to be and will be again under President Trump. Home of the first national park, home of the first national monument, the real home of women's suffrage, having passed a law giving women the right to vote in 1869, a full half-century before the 19th Amendment was passed, home of the bucking bronco steamboat, who was only ridden by a few cowboys, but is being ridden by Donald Trump today. Happily, unanimously, enthusiastically, Wyoming casts all of its 29 votes with our fellow delegates gathered in Riverton, Wyoming this morning for the President, Donald J. Trump. God bless America.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Wyoming cast 29 votes for Donald J. Trump. Thank you.
So now the chair is prepared to announce the results. The following candidates received the following votes: 2,550 for President Donald J. Trump. The chair announces that Donald J. Trump, having received a majority of these votes entitled to be cast at the convention, has been unanimously elected as the Republican Party nominee for President of the United States. Pursuant to Rule 40D of the Rule 37E National Convention Procedures, I formally declare Donald J. Trump and Michael R. Pence the Republican nominees for President and Vice President of these United States. As we prepare to adjourn, I'd like to remind the RNC members in attendance that our organizational meeting will take place shortly after the convention adjourns. The meeting will begin at 1:30 p.m. at the Westin Hotel in the Grand Ballroom, which is on the second floor of the hotel. Lunch will be provided to the members. Please make sure you are there by 1:30 p.m. as many members need to catch flights home later this afternoon and evening. While we will leave Charlotte today, I want you to know that we have had an amazing array of convention programming coming up ahead this week. You will hear convention acceptance speeches from the President, Vice President, and First Lady, with additional convention celebration events taking place the rest of the week. And now, please join me in welcoming back to the stage Leader Kevin McCarthy.
Let's thank Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel for the amazing job she has done. Great job. I hope you realize the difference between Republican and Democrat conventions. Our nominees show up, so just a little different. Now at this time, the chair would like to recognize the delegate from South Carolina.
From the great state of South Carolina, I move that the 2020 Republican National Convention adjourns until 7:30 p.m. this evening.
The motion has been made to adjourn until 7:30 p.m. this evening. Is there a second?
Howdy toddy, Mr. Chairman. I'm Henry Barber from Mississippi, and I second the motion.
The motion has been made and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, the chair will call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Any opposing, say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. We are adjourned.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an important reminder for delegates participating in the ballot certification meeting to proceed to the terrace area through the north doors.
Mr. President, great to see you. We've just had the Democrat convention. You're up next week. Right. A lot of the commentary on the Democrats convention was that it was very negative. It was very much attacking
it was
Trump,
dark.
Trump.
It was dark.
Right.
I agree.
What are we going to see from your party next week?
Well, I think we're going to see something that is going to be very uplifting and positive. That's what I'd like it to be. I think you have to defend yourself by talking about some of the lies, like when he says Social Security. I don't think he knows too much about Social Security. Basically, he said he's not going to give the big tax reduction that we're giving for people, which is a lot of money, and you have to do that. You need some stimulus during this period of time. The economy is roaring back. It's coming back. We're going to be talking about the economy. We're going to be talking about the military, what we've done and where we're going, because we need strong military. They don't want to have a strong military.
But those are I just wanted to get a sense from you. What's the overall message?
I think it's positive.
Why should people vote for you?
Yeah, I think the overall is going to be a very positive as opposed to a dark, a very, very positive message. And positive on the economy. We're going to have a great year next year. You know, people find it hard to believe. You've seen the numbers. They all said, oh, we're not going to have a V. Well, the way we're going, we're going to have a super V. And we haven't even gotten the additional stimulus that the Democrats should have approved, and they probably will, because I think they have a lot of political pressure. But no, I think it's going to be a very, very positive message.
You've talked a lot about getting back to where we were.
Right.
The great economy, the facts are there on that. People can see that. And they experienced it. But what do you want to get done if you're re-elected in the next 4 years that you weren't able to do in the first?
I'd love to see school choice education-wise. It takes care of itself. It's the ultimate thing. I believe you're a fan of school choice, but
very much
the Democrats are totally not.
Well, most importantly, parents are.
Well,
they
the
know that
parents
it's better
are.
for their children.
The parents are. And so school choice is one thing. Education is very simple, school choice. And let the parent go and decide. And also, for instance, if they're going to close these schools, I just left Pennsylvania, the whole state is closed up. North Carolina, they have it all closed up. By the way, their numbers aren't any better than other states. In many cases, they're worse. But you'll probably open up everything on November 4th. Anything they can to make the economy as bad as possible. But they're having a hard time with it because the numbers are so good.
So what can you do at the federal level? Because a lot of that school, you know, the money and the way it's run, it's done at the state and local level. What could you do as president?
Well, one of the things I did, which nobody ever talks about, is I saved the historically black colleges and universities. They were in big trouble, and I saved them. Nobody wants to talk about that. President Obama did not do it, and Biden didn't do it, and people didn't do it. So I think that's an important thing. At least I can say it, because we get no credit, and we should get a little credit for doing certain things. We are working with every educational group in the country. We are working on our schools. We want very, very strong, and you know, I've been very, very strong on choice, and we've got a lot of choice going. But this is where we can get students to, instead of failing horrible schools, where you see some of the statistics in New York where, I mean, people can barely read after they get out of high school. They can't pass the simplest of tests. So education's a big factor. It's going to be a big factor for me.
So let's talk about the economy and China. And I want to put those subjects together.